Hey guys, so today we are going to talk about how we should develop our pieces as white and as black, and we'll talk a bit on the middle game, which square do our pieces like the most. When we talk about development, we always refer to the center square. Center square refers to these four squares: d4, d5, e4, e5. At some cases, you may also refer this as partially center. Okay, so as long as you are controlling the square within these squares, you are fine. Which means you shouldn't probably play this move at your first, because that is not a good move. This is not controlling the center. You shouldn't play your knight to the side, because that is also not controlling the center, right? So with that, as white, you always want to move your pawn to the center by moving the pawn in front of the king, e4, e2 to e4, and then your knights will come out. Bishop will be here. Okay, so the reason with these two knights here is because it controls the center square. You can see it controls these four center square, which is very good. And then bishop coming out here, further controlling these two square. Alright, and you may see sometimes people like to put their light square bishop here, and let me tell you, this is not a good move, because you are blocking your bishop from coming out to control further center square. So people like to move the light square bishop to c4. Then you would like to castle. The reason you want to castle first is because you want to move your king out of the danger. Secondly, you will want to move your rook to the middle to further control the center square. Now it is time to move our bishop out, but our bishop is currently blocked by our pawn. So you want to move your pawn up, then you want to move your bishop here or here. Okay, I don't really like to put my bishop here, because first of all it is too passive, and secondly you are blocking your knight is blocking your bishop. Right, so it's better to put here. You are controlling more squares, or here you are controlling some very important center square. Okay, so now it's time for our rook to come into the middle, but currently the middle is blocked by our queen, so we have to move our queen somewhere. We can move our queen here or here. Okay, it's up to you, but the point is we want to move our rook to the middle. So once you have done all the development, okay, this is the ideal development position that we want to see in the opening. What's next? So next is you want to push your pawn in the middle if you can, because pushing your pawn in the middle allows you to gain some space. So if let's say you are not able to push your pawn in the middle, you can push your pawn at the side. We call this as a random pawn push. Okay, as we mentioned before, pawn likes to move in front so that it reaches the end of opponent's last rank, and once it reaches the opponent's last rank, it can be promoted to queen or any pieces that you want. So be sure to push your pawn. You do not want to push randomly here. You can just push this so that you can have an escape square, but generally I do not recommend you to start pushing this pawn here. And let's talk about black. So black, it will be the same as white, where you want to put the two knights out, bishop out, okay, and castle, moving the rook to the middle, queen up. Okay, so now there are a few ways. For black it's a bit different, because you have to respond to what white make. So let's just say if they go for standard e4, you always go for e5, knights out, okay, and then the other knights out. Okay, let's put this knight back, and then bishop out, castle, putting the rook in the middle, okay, and then pawns up so that you can open up this bishop here, and queen up, rooks in the middle, make an escape square, and then starting the random pawn push. Okay, the same as white, but sometimes you can see that the opponent is not making e4 as their first move. So what should you do? So let's go back to starting position. They come with d4. So you don't have to panic about it. You just need to know that you shouldn't make the move e5. Okay, because this just blunders a pawn. Alright, so you need to respond by also putting d4. Then the rest is still the same. Knights out, controlling the center square. Okay, bishop out. And then you may notice that you need an extra move to castle. That is fine, but you just need to make this pawn move to allow your bishop to come out here and then castle. Rooks in the middle, queen up, rooks in the middle. Okay, and then escape square and random pawn push. Easy as that. Let's talk about during the middle game. So let's split the board again. So let's say we have done this. Okay, here, 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 here. Okay, so once you have done all this and maybe you have done some random pawn push, okay, this is like the very usual position that you will see in your chess game. What's next? First of all, let's talk about knight. Knight, as we mentioned before, they like to be, they do not like to be in the side, because if you see at the side, it only can control so little squares, so few squares. So knight, the aim is always to go to the center. So if you can put your knight here, okay, d4, d5, e4 or e5, that is the best, because it is controlling so many squares, right? You can see they are controlling so many squares, 8 squares to be exact. Okay, knight in the center. Bishop is more flexible than knight. Bishop doesn't have to be in the center, because you can think of bishop as like a sniper. So you can even put your bishop here, and you can see that it is actually controlling the center. Okay, rooks always go in the middle, okay, no matter what. And during the development we have already done that. But one thing that we have to note is rooks, when you have nothing to do, try to double your rooks. What does it mean by double your rooks? Double your rooks means you move your rook up here and the other rook comes here. The reason being is you want to further consolidate your center and are trying to go for this pawn push. Okay, and then 2 rooks in an open file. Open file means something like this, where the rook is not blocked by anything, is very powerful. Okay, so now we have known about the rooks. We will always want to try to double your rooks. Queen. So queen, the aim is going for the middle. So if your queen can be in the middle during the middle game, it will create a lot of tracks because it is controlling a lot of squares. Okay, that being said, you shouldn't bring your queen out too early in the opening. But when you have developed all your pieces and basically your pieces can protect your queen a lot, then you can bring your queen out in the middle. Okay, and king, obviously we do not want to move your king. It will always be stuck at the corner until the end game. I think that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.